Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue brewing at Windermere involving a dangerous relic and potential deadly consequences for several Port Charles residents. The ancient Cassadine dagger, once wielded by the notorious Helena Cassadine, has resurfaced in a sinister plot that could reshape the landscape of Port Charles. This historical weapon, steeped in blood and tragedy, now serves as the centerpiece in what appears to be an elaborate scheme orchestrated by the calculating Congressman Jens Sidwell. The dagger's dark purpose. Sidwell's machinations began with a seemingly innocent invitation to Alexis Davis to visit Windermere. During this encounter, he deliberately presented Helena's dagger to Alexis, encouraging her to hold the weapon that carries such painful significance in her family history. The moment Alexis touched the blade, she was unwittingly drawn into Sidwell's web of deception. What makes this interaction particularly disturbing is the meticulous care Sidwell took in ensuring Alexis's fingerprints thoroughly marked the weapon while keeping his own prints conspicuously absent. After Alexis departed, he carefully retrieved the dagger using methods that would preserve her fingerprints while adding none of his own, a clear indication that this weapon is destined to play a central role in an upcoming crime. The congressman's careful planning raises alarming questions about his true intentions. Is this elaborate setup merely the opening move in a complex game of revenge? Or perhaps it's part of a larger strategy to gain control over key assets in Port Charles? Despite Sidwell's claims that he harbors no ill will towards Sonny Corinthos, evidence suggests otherwise. The congressman has demonstrated unusual interest in Sonny's movements, even tracking him to Los Angeles for a cardiologist appointment, behavior that indicates more than casual curiosity. Sidwell has already shown determination to interfere with Sonny's waterfront property plans. This economic motivation, combined with possible jealousy over Sonny's rekindled relationship with Natalia Ramirez, creates a compelling case for Sonny being the intended victim of this dagger plot. The congressman might be orchestrating a scenario where Alexis appears to have attacked Sonny in a moment of rage, possibly related to concerns over their daughter Christina. Such a scheme would serve multiple purposes, eliminating Sonny as an obstacle while simultaneously discrediting Alexis, a prominent attorney who might otherwise pose a threat to Sidwell's ambitions. Drew Quartermaine, the unexpected victim. Recent episodes have featured subtle foreshadowing regarding Drew Quartermaine's future, suggesting he might become entangled in this dangerous situation. Though Sidwell and Drew currently maintain a business partnership, such alliances in Port Charles have historically proven fragile when personal interests conflict. If Drew were to discover compromising information about Sidwell's activities or become an impediment to the congressman's plans, he could quickly transform from partner to target. The show writers might be setting up a shocking twist where Drew, rather than the more obvious candidates, falls victim to the ancient dagger. In such a scenario, Sidwell could craft a narrative implicating Alexis in Drew's demise, possibly fabricating a conflict involving Scout Quartermaine as motive. This would create maximum dramatic impact while furthering Sidwell's as-yet unrevealed agenda. Alexis Davis, unwitting pawn. The Cassadine connection provides another layer to this unfolding drama. As a Cassadine by birth, Alexis carries the weight of her family's complicated history, a history Sidwell seems determined to exploit. The dagger itself represents a painful chapter in that history, having reportedly been used to take her mother's life. This personal connection makes the framing of Alexis particularly cruel, suggesting Sidwell may harbor deep-seated resentment toward the Cassadine family. Perhaps the GH writers have crafted a backstory where Sidwell or someone close to him suffered at Cassadine hands, explaining his elaborate revenge plot. Alternatively, Alexis may have unknowingly crossed Sidwell in her capacity as an attorney, creating a grudge she remains unaware of but which fuels his current actions. The congressman's patient, methodical approach suggests a long-standing grievance rather than a recent conflict. The larger game. Sidwell's scheme extends beyond the immediate frame-up. His careful surveillance of Sonny, interference with waterfront development plans, and strategic positioning in Port Charles politics indicate a comprehensive strategy to consolidate power and influence. The dagger plot may represent just one component of a multifaceted approach to eliminating obstacles and establishing dominance in the community. By potentially removing key figures like Sonny or Drew while simultaneously discrediting Alexis, Sidwell could clear a path to achieving his ultimate objectives, whatever they may be. The congressman's true endgame remains shrouded in mystery, but his willingness to exploit family trauma and frame an innocent person suggests moral flexibility that makes him particularly dangerous. As viewers, we're left wondering not just who will fall victim to the dagger, but what Sidwell hopes to gain from the ensuing chaos. What lies ahead? As this storyline unfolds, several critical questions demand answers. What personal history connects Sidwell to the Cassadines or to Alexis specifically? Is his target Sonny, Drew, or perhaps someone entirely unexpected? And what will happen when the metaphorical dagger finally strikes? The coming weeks promise dramatic developments as Sidwell's plan accelerates toward its deadly conclusion. With Alexis's fingerprints firmly established on the murder weapon, she faces potential legal jeopardy when the inevitable crime occurs. Will anyone recognize the trap before it's too late, or will Sidwell's careful planning ensure his success? Port Charles stands on the precipice of tragedy, with longtime characters in grave danger and a new villain demonstrating remarkable patience and cunning. As the ancient Cassadine dagger awaits its next victim, viewers can only watch with mounting tension to see whose blood will next stain its blade and what consequences will ripple through the community in the aftermath. Next, we will learn about the issue brewing between three Port Charles residents that threatens to unravel both a friendship and a marriage. The complex web of relationships in Port Charles is about to experience a seismic shift as a decades-old secret emerges from the shadows. At the center of this unfolding drama are Detective Harrison Chase, his wife Brooklyn Quartermain, and his police partner and best friend Dante Falconeri. What none of them realized until now is how their lives were already intertwined long before they formed their current bonds. The secret that could destroy everything. Brooklyn Quartermain has been harboring a life-altering secret since her high school days. While she recently confided in her husband Chase about giving up a baby for adoption during her teenage years, she deliberately omitted a crucial detail: the identity of the father. This wasn't a random omission but a calculated decision to protect multiple relationships simultaneously. The walls are closing in on Brooklyn's carefully constructed life, as one Port Charles insider puts it. She's built a marriage with Chase based on trust and mutual respect, yet this enormous secret threatens to undermine everything they've built together. The father of Brooklyn's child is none other than Dante Falconeri, Chase's partner on the police force and closest friend. What makes this revelation even more explosive is that neither man knows the complete truth. Chase remains unaware of Dante's connection to his wife's past, while Dante has no knowledge that he fathered a child with Brooklyn all those years ago. The unexpected catalyst. The catalyst for this potential explosion comes from an unexpected source: Lulu Spencer, Dante's ex-wife. During an investigation into her daughter's whereabouts, Lulu broke into Martine Gray's hotel room where she discovered documentation revealing the shocking connection between Brooklyn, Dante, and their secret child. Rather than processing this information discreetly, Lulu immediately confronted Brooklyn with what she learned. During this heated exchange, Lulu revealed something Brooklyn never knew: that her child was a boy. This additional piece of information only compounds Brooklyn's emotional turmoil as she now faces an impossible decision. Lulu's involvement adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation, notes a close observer of the unfolding drama. Her history with Dante colors her motivations, making her threat to expose everything particularly dangerous. The ultimatum and its implications. Armed with this explosive information, Lulu has issued Brooklyn an ultimatum: tell Dante the truth herself, or Lulu will do it for her. This places Brooklyn in an impossible position, forced to choose between controlling the narrative herself or having it weaponized by someone with questionable motives. Brooklyn maintains that Dante doesn't need to know about their shared past, especially since so many years have passed. However, her resistance may stem from fear rather than conviction. The revelation would not only impact her marriage to Chase but could permanently damage the friendship between Chase and Dante. Brooklyn's hesitation speaks volumes about her priorities and fears, explains a relationship expert familiar with the situation. She's not just protecting Dante or even herself, she's desperately trying to preserve Chase's sense of security in their marriage, especially given his struggles with fertility. The ironic twist. Perhaps the most ironic element of this entire situation is that the child Brooklyn gave up for adoption isn't a stranger to Port Charles. In fact, he's been right under everyone's noses for years. In a twist that no one could have anticipated, Sonny Corinthos, Dante's father, has unknowingly been supporting his own grandson financially for years. This creates a multi-generational impact that extends far beyond the immediate parties involved. When the truth emerges, it won't just affect Brooklyn, Chase, and Dante, it will reverberate throughout the Corinthos family and potentially reshape family dynamics that have been established for decades. The ripple effects of this revelation will be felt throughout Port Charles, predicts a longtime observer of the community's dynamics. We're not just talking about a marriage and a friendship, we're looking at the redefinition of family lines that cross multiple households. The question of trust. At its core, this situation raises profound questions about trust in relationships. When Chase inevitably learns the truth, his first assumption will likely be that Dante knew about the baby all along and kept it from him, a devastating betrayal from his best friend. The reality that Dante was equally in the dark may not immediately mitigate Chase's sense of betrayal. More significantly, Chase will have to confront the fact that Brooklyn didn't trust him enough to share the complete truth about her past. For a relationship built on mutual trust and transparency, this revelation strikes at its very foundation. The question Chase will have to answer is whether omission constitutes betrayal, notes a relationship counselor. Can he understand Brooklyn's motivations for keeping this secret, or will he see it as a fundamental breach of the trust they've built together? The ethical dilemma. Lulu's role in this unfolding drama raises important ethical questions about her right to intervene in a situation that, as Brooklyn points out, no longer directly involves her. Since Lulu and Dante are no longer married, her insertion into this delicate situation could be viewed as inappropriate meddling rather than justified concern. However, Lulu likely sees herself as protecting Dante's right to know about his child, regardless of her current relationship status with him. This moral gray area further complicates an already complex situation, with no clear right answer about who should reveal what to whom. The ethics of secret-keeping versus truth-telling are rarely black and white, observes an ethics professor following the situation. When multiple lives and relationships hang in the balance, the right thing to do becomes nearly impossible to determine objectively. The inevitable confrontation. As pressure mounts from Lulu's ultimatum, Brooklyn faces an impossible choice. Will she gather her courage and reveal the truth to both Dante and Chase herself? Or will Lulu follow through on her threat, depriving Brooklyn of the opportunity to frame the narrative in her own words? Either way, the truth is poised to emerge, and the aftermath promises to be emotionally devastating for all involved. Chase's sense of betrayal, Dante's shock at unexpected fatherhood, and Brooklyn's fear of losing everything she holds dear will collide in what promises to be an explosive confrontation. The clock is ticking, and Port Charles braces for a revelation that will forever alter the relationships between these interconnected individuals. The only certainty is that nothing will ever be the same again. Next, we will learn about the issues surrounding Lulu Spencer's controversial behavior towards Brooklyn Quartermain in the popular soap opera General Hospital. This situation has sparked significant debate among fans, and we're going to dive deep into the complex dynamics at play. The complicated past comes to light. Brooklyn Quartermain's life is about to be turned upside down due to a secret from her past. As a teenager, Brooklyn had a summer romance with Dante Falconeri that resulted in an unexpected pregnancy. Facing this difficult situation at such a young age, she made the heart-wrenching decision to place her child for adoption, believing it was the best choice for the baby's future. This deeply personal decision remained private until recently, when Lulu Spencer, Dante's ex-wife, discovered the truth. The revelation has set off a chain of events that threatens to disrupt multiple lives in Port Charles. Lulu's questionable actions. Lulu's behavior upon learning this information has been particularly troubling. Rather than approaching this situation with empathy, she has taken aggressive steps to expose Brooklyn's past. In a shocking invasion of privacy, Lulu broke into attorney Martin Gray's hotel room to access confidential notes from his meeting with Lois Cerullo. These documents confirmed that Brooklyn and Dante share a biological son. Not stopping there, Lulu manipulated Cody Bell into confirming Brooklyn's secret. Her determination to expose this information appears driven more by personal animosity than genuine concern for those involved. The identity of Gio Palmieri. The child at the center of this emotional storm is Gio Palmieri, who currently resides in the Quartermain mansion with Brooklyn. What makes this situation particularly delicate is that Gio has no knowledge of his adoption. The revelation that Brooklyn is his biological mother and Dante his biological father would completely transform his understanding of his identity and family connections. Currently, only a small circle of people, Lois, Martin, and now Lulu, are aware of Joe's true parentage besides Brooklyn herself. This limited knowledge makes Lulu's threats even more consequential, as she holds the power to dramatically alter multiple lives with this information. Carly's wise counsel ignored. In a moment that could have changed the trajectory of this conflict, Lulu sought advice from Carly Spencer. Carly attempted to provide perspective, explaining that Brooklyn's decision didn't make her a bad person. She encouraged Lulu to practice empathy, even pointing out that Lulu herself had once made the difficult choice to have an abortion. Carly wisely noted that when Brooklyn gave up her baby and maintained that secret, she was making what she believed was the best decision for her child as a mother. Unfortunately, while Lulu may have heard these words, she clearly wasn't receptive to their meaning. The confrontation and double standards. When Lulu confronted Brooklyn, she delivered an ultimatum: either Brooklyn tells Dante about their shared child, or Lulu would do it herself. This aggressive approach ignored the complexity and emotional weight of Brooklyn's past decision. During this tense exchange, Brooklyn highlighted Lulu's hypocrisy by pointing out that she had never judged Lulu for her choice to have an abortion or questioned her decisions regarding her own children. Despite this reasonable observation, Lulu remained combative and refused to extend any compassion toward Brooklyn. Potential consequences. Lulu's actions could have far-reaching consequences beyond what she anticipates. While she may hope that exposing this secret will somehow bring her closer to Dante, the reality might be quite different. The revelation could actually strengthen the bond between Dante and Brooklyn as they process the discovery of their shared child. For Dante, who has been grieving the loss of Sam McCall, learning about Gio could provide the family connection he's been missing. This outcome would certainly not align with what appears to be Lulu's underlying motivation. The emotional impact on Gio. Perhaps most concerning is how this revelation will affect Gio himself. Learning that the woman he believed was his mother for his entire life isn't biologically related to him, and that Brooklyn, someone he already knows, is actually his birth mother would be profoundly disorienting. This kind of discovery requires careful handling and emotional support, not the hasty exposure that Lulu seems intent on orchestrating. The psychological impact on a child learning such information in a potentially chaotic manner could be significant and long-lasting. Understanding Brooklyn's choice. Brooklyn's decision to place her child for adoption as a teenager deserves contextual understanding. Facing an unplanned pregnancy at such a young age presents overwhelming challenges, and adoption can be a loving choice made with the child's best interests at heart. The decision to not inform Dante at the time was likely influenced by many factors, including her youth, their casual relationship status, and her assessment of what would cause the least trauma for all involved. Judging this decision decades later without acknowledging these complexities demonstrates a lack of empathy on Lulu's part. In conclusion, this unfolding drama highlights the complicated nature of past decisions, the importance of empathy, and the potential consequences of exposing long-held secrets. As viewers, we're left to wonder whether Lulu will reconsider her approach or if her actions will indeed change the lives of Brooklyn, Dante, and most importantly, young Gio forever.